Hello, welcome to my first video. This is going to be about a project I'm working on. It's a full-size 356 Porsche buck for taking molds off of and then taking parts from those molds out of like fiberglass composite materials. Um, Anyways, let's get started. Make a body for like a tube frame style car. Mainly for time attack and hill climb competition. That's just been one of my main goals, especially living in Colorado, being Pikes Peak right here in the state. It's kind of been a big goal of mine. And to do it with like a 356 chassis would just be amazing. So the way I have it designed, every 15 inches, each center point of the panel, which is a 1-inch piece, each center point is 15 inches apart from the next one. So, and that goes for both axes. So as you can see, I didn't get all the panels finished yet, but it's starting to take a little bit of shape. I started spraying some foam up there. Gonna carve that down and sand it once it's kind of cured. If you do this, I recommend maybe this foam board's actually somewhat rigid, but I would recommend like an MDF board or something. I just chose this because it was cheap and very shapeable. What I ended up doing is downloading a model of the 356 coupe that I wanted, the body style that I wanted, and scaled it in Fusion 360 to a 1:1 scale. And from there I went to the mesh section of Fusion, and there is a create outline from mesh section. Now one of the advantages I have is the shop that I run has a plasma table that also has a router attachment, so I just put a 4x8 sheet on there and weigh it down with some mill vices that are junk, and then I go ahead and cut them out to size, which makes it way easier. But you know, a regular person can print this out to scale on like regular sheets of paper and just tape them together and make a pattern from that. And it's, I mean, you could cut it out by hand with like a little saw, which would work just as well. It might be a little more time consuming, but I just use what I have available, and this definitely does the job. Recommendation to you guys for CAD CAM software is, I guess, pretty obvious. Especially if you're a student, get Fusion, because I mean it's a great software. It's easy to learn. The learning curve's not too bad. I'm more familiar with the CAM side of things. I was trained on Mastercam, but I'm still kind of learning as far as design and kind of tweaking stuff in the CAD side of the software. Things to watch out for. Make sure your WCS is set up in a way that kind of is the orientation you're going to put the material into your machine. For me, I have my Y pointed forward and my X pointed to the right and my Z up, and that I generally put it on the front left corner of the stock for something like this where it isn't super critical. Next is feeds and speeds. You're going to want to calculate the feeds and speeds for your project because you may be using something other than foam, and harder materials are a little bit different to cut. Next is make sure your compensation is to the outside or left if you're climb milling. This just ensures that you're actually milling the outside profile. You're not milling the inside profile when you make your contour tool pass. This is pretty critical because otherwise your stuff won't come out the right size. Because it's a lot of tool pass you have to do for each panel. I mean, not a lot of tool pass, but a lot of setups for each panel. and to change those over, it's easy to kind of miss when you look at the toolpath if it is compensated the right way. Thank you for watching, and I'll have an update for you in a few months.